WSBK 2019 Throw Championship away. So he's learned the lessons from that, and he's put himself in a position this weekend to get the job done.
As Toprak Razgatlioglu continues to prove just how much he enjoys his rain.
And then get caught out like that.
Looked similar in some senses to what we saw from Lecuona earlier on in the session.
Yeah, and again, you're a little bit offline, and then you're caught out by it.
Lavity fortunate that Loris Baz wasn't riding closer, and very swift reactions actually from Loris Baz to avert disaster there.
Yeah, and there've been all the teammates out there lapping together, and that's one time that you're trying to do that to be able to give each other a little bit of feedback, trying to use that to really be able to step something up for tomorrow's sessions as well. And for Baz, we'll wait and see what he's able to do in the closing moments of the session. As it is right now, he's down in 17th fastest, and he was only a tenth of a second slower than his teammate on the time. So you'd expect to see Baz make some progress from that. Scott Redding and Michael van der Mark closely matched on the factory BMW seats as well, and 13th and 14th fastest. So for Loris Baz, needs to find about a second to get on the pace of the fastest BMW.
Yes, Redding just making his way to start his final flying laps, his final stint of free practice 2, as we see Michael Ruben Rinaldi cross the line. New personal best from him, 1 minute 34.590. That's half a second down on Toprak Razgatlioglu, who we pick up here in the wake of Garrett Gerloff heading down towards turn number 1. And we'll see, didn't look like Toprak could quite get alongside Gerloff in the braking zone.
Yeah, and I think that's a good indication of just how tricky it is when you're that little bit offline. Toprak not even trying to get alongside Garrett Gerloff despite having to run down the start-finish straight.
Yes, we'll see if that continues to be a factor over the course of this weekend. Track position could be all important here in Mandalika. Final 4 minutes of free practice 2 then. Toprak Razgatlioglu, the man to beat, the fastest time of the day for P1, 1 minute 34.088. Alvaro Bautista over 0.3 of a second slower than that. And their championship rival Jonathan Ray currently down in 9th position, but set to make a major improvement here.
Yeah, and for Bautista, he's given up pretty much all that lap time in Sector 1 as well on a pretty consistent basis. Toprak's had a few tenths of a second on.
Jonathan Ray, meanwhile, making his way through the final sector. The long, tightening pair of corners, turns 15 and then 16, and then through the left-hander at 17 now, and then driving towards the line. Short run to the finish line to set his fastest lap of the day so far, 1 minute 34.595. So just 0.005 of a second slower than Michael Ruben Rinaldi, half a second slower than Toprak Razgatlioglu. Your top 3 in the championship are now in the top 4 positions this afternoon in FP2. Xavi Forres set to make an improvement. He goes up to 6th fastest, sub 1 minute 35 for the first time this afternoon for the number 12 Barney Ducati, 134.871 for Xavi Forres. That puts him up ahead of Axel Bassani once again. Forres is going to have plenty of cause for optimism ahead of competitive action tomorrow here in Indonesia. Scott Redding crossing the line, first flying lap of his final stint at 135.6, so he's still 1.5 seconds slower than Razgatlioglu and still outside of those top 10 positions as well.
Yeah, just looking at the timesheets as well, Toprak's been able to complete 25 laps in this session as well, so good information being gathered there by the Yamaha rider. Most riders in and around 19-20 laps for their mileage in this session.
And his teammate Andrea Locatelli coming on strong in the final minutes of this session as well, as he bids to move up into the top 10. Currently down in 15th place is Andrea Locatelli this afternoon. From Paul Denning talking in terms of a slightly different structure to his Friday and to his weekend. So we'll see how that plays out in the final minutes of FP2. Locatelli coming towards the line here to move P7. New personal best sub 1 minute 35. So that's 7 riders now who've gone into the 1 minute 34s. And Bautista, Alvaro Bautista, might be about to become the first rider to go into the 1 minute 33s if he can hook it up through this final sector, because he's a 1/10 of a second better than where Toprak Razgatlioglu was on his fastest lap at the same point, and he is coming through the final 2 turns now. Jonathan Ray directly in front of him on track as a bit of a reference point, too far away to give him any slipstream advantage or anything like that, as Bautista comes to the line and sets a 1 minute 33.626, and that really is excellent from Alvaro Bautista, 4.5 of a second faster than Toprak Razgatlioglu.
Yeah, and for Bautista, he was the fastest rider of all in sectors 2, 3 and 4 on that lap, so he's as close as you get to that ideal lap time as well for fastest time for the day, and that's impressive stuff from Alvaro.
Well, and a new personal best in sector 1 as well from Bautista on that lap, so making real progress. Alvaro Bautista all in one go. dropped 3.5 tenths of a second in the first sector of his next lap, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to improve. We're just half a minute away from the checkered flag falling on Friday's proceedings here in Mandalika, as Jonathan Rea just lets Alvaro Bautista go in front of him, looks over his shoulder. He must have run wide there at turn 8. So Jonathan Rea then leaving Bautista to continue on and to beat for much of today.
Yeah, and for Bautista, really good lap right at the end of the session to be able to do that. We saw his times as well on his second stint, very consistent. So Alvaro and Ducati doing a really good job here on the opening sessions of the weekend.
Scott Redding bails on his final lap. Don't know whether that was Axel Bassani that he was, I think he and Bassani were out on the track together. I don't know whether it was frustration with himself or frustration with another rider around him there for Scott Redding.
Well, Bassani's just had his lap time cancelled for exceeding track limits at turn 9. That was the corner before we saw Scott Redding, so he's probably a little bit annoyed at something that happened from Bassani when he rejoined the track.
Well, I was also under the impression that it was an outlap from Bassani, so fastest ahead of Toprak Razgatlioglu and Michael Ruben Rinaldi. Really strong afternoon as far as Ducati are concerned, with Xavi Forés up in 6th position on the Barney bike and Axel Bassani also inside those top 10 places. Andrea Locatelli again finding some pace in the closing minutes of this session, has brought himself up into 7th. It's been a decent afternoon for Yamaha as well. Razgatlioglu 2nd, Gerloff 5th, and Locatelli in 7th place. The BMW's restricted, Redding down in 10th position, and the Hondas as well, particularly of course because of Iker Lecuona's crash. Hopefully he is okay and will resume when we get underway with racing tomorrow afternoon here in Indonesia. Final lap over the line from Andrea Locatelli. It's not going to be an improvement for him, and that just about settles things as far as free practice is concerned. Looking good as far as Ducati are concerned, in conditions similar to what we should see in the 2 feature-length races this weekend.
Yeah, 4 Ducatis up inside the top 9 spots, so that's a good indication of just what they're able to do around here in these conditions. But there is a big margin between Bautista and Michael Ruben Rinaldi up there in 3rd fastest, so round about a second between them. Certainly in the Super Bowl session, you'll see that gap close right up as well. But for Alvaro Bautista, we know he's got his first opportunity to win the World Championship tomorrow. This is going to leave him, or he'll probably sleep pretty well tonight.
Yes, I think that he won't be expecting to get it done tomorrow. If he does, it's a bonus. But Sunday, and Sunday afternoon in particular, he'll really want this wrapped up before he travels to Phillip Island.
Yeah, he did wrap up his 125 World Championship in Phillip Island, and that was with a few races to spare as well. So for Alvaro, he knows what it's like to get across the line to win a World Championship. Obviously, we saw
racing, just how much he enjoys being out on the bike, and I think any time there's a contract negotiation, you say, no, you enjoy it too much. You don't need an improved contract agreement.
Yeah, and any time that's said, I'm sure Keane and his manager is saying, tell you what, he's got a lot of TV coverage for the stoppies.
Yes, that's for sure. Certainly plenty of airtime, both for the back tyre and indeed for the man himself, Toprak Razgatlioglu. Alvaro Bautista then is your fastest man in free practice 2. Toprak leading for, well, all of this morning and much of this afternoon as well, but Bautista comes up with that late lap to take P1 away. Michael Ruben Rinaldi makes it 2 Ducatis in the top 3. Xavi Forés and Axel Bassani also in the top 10. So strong afternoon in the high track temperatures for the Ducati riders. Jonathan Rea best the Kawasaki's with P4. We had 3 Yamahas up in the top 10 positions as well. Razgatlioglu 2nd, Gerloff 5th, and Locatelli 7th. Xavi Vierge, the top Honda in P8 after a crash for Iker Lecuona. That and the incident earlier on for Hafiz Shireen, probably the main talking points or the main incidents and dramas of F2. Combined times obviously identical.